We are back with Saying My Lane podcast with my husband.
Episode number 4
Yeah,
for me.
for you.
Yeah,
But they're not all coming out at the same time. So,
got one out.
yep.
I
Trophy
listened to it
husband.
and I'm like, wow. I was a little bit more tired and a little bit more inebriated than I thought.
Oh, well, that's not great.
Well, also, you were doing them at like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I got to work the next day.
That's true.
I had been working the entire day.
Yeah.
And it would have been the night before my day off.
That's true.
Been up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and it's 10 o'clock at night. And I want to go to bed. And you're like,
that's true. So what are you thinking of the podcast so far?
So far, I think it's pretty good. I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've had pretty decent amount of followers. I've had pretty good feedback. I haven't gotten any negative feedback, which has been nice, but I know that's coming. I mean,
I'm going to anonymously say something negative.
okay.
No, I won't.
Oh, okay. I went over my head for a second. So what are you thinking of the podcast where we talk about the rumors?
This last one you did?
Mm-hmm.
Eye-opening, I guess.
How do you feel about that? Like knowing, I mean, just kind of like everything kind of comes to light. How does that make you feel?
Disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Really disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
For people to say that you and I are swingers.
Or that and I do drugs is pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like below the belt.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah. And the fact that if other people that you and I know and who have hung out with,
yeah,
say after the fact, because this was said, what, a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
The fact that nobody defended us, great.
Speaks volumes, though.
It does. It speaks volumes to the people who, made these rumors and spread them.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, if that's how you want to be, go ahead. I'm not going to be like that. And let's not forget that if you're making those rumors, it's probably because you're doing that lifestyle yourself and you're trying to take it off and put it onto somebody else, which is, I mean, it's not the right answer by any means, and you don't hold yourself accountable, but here you are.
Right. It's like I feel like, and I've said this before, I think to you probably, people who accuse people of doing things are often doing it themselves.
Correct.
And that accountability kind of gets shifted from the person, who should be taking that to pointing the finger at somebody else to deflect the situation and the blame off the person that needs to be responsible.
Correct.
So it's just really an unhealthy way to deal with something, and it's very toxic to be that type of person to start shit with someone that you don't even know.
Right. But even then, you say, I find it interesting that you say to deal with. What exactly is being dealt with? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can you remind me what I just said? Like, what do you, explain it?
Well, when we're talking about these rumors of you and I supposedly being a swinger couple,
mm-hmm.
and you say it's a situation that they are trying to deal with. What exactly are they trying to deal with in making up rumors that you and I...
their own insecurities.
Oh.
Yeah, because if you are someone who is sitting around talking about other people and that's making you feel good, then you have a lot of work to do, because your insecurities are obviously causing so many problems that you feel the need to talk about somebody and tear somebody else down in order to make yourself feel better. And that's just not something that's okay to do.
Yeah. It goes back to just the old adage of treat people the way you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you two, sorry, Emily,
mm-hmm.
said that there was some kind of story that went along with that rumor, though.
Mm-hmm.
I would be interested to hear what that story is. Is it adventurous? Is it like...
I mean, I wasn't there, so I would love to know, like, who
right,
this made-up couple is that,
right.
know.
Or what if they're not a made-up couple and they're like, yeah, no, we've done that before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Who are you? it's, I don't know, I laugh about it
Yeah.
when, and I've been doing that for the past, couple years whenever it's randomly brought up to our attention.
Because multiple people, not just one, multiple people have said this same story, same thing, same story, whatever,
Yeah.
different instances when they're not together. So it's been multiple times.
Right. But these people also know that
We are not
eventually we're going to,
swingers.
well, right. But the people who are saying this eventually know it's going to come back to us.
For sure.
And they're just probably sitting there like, ha ha ha. I can't wait for them to just feel so annoyed or just so mad or so sad. And it makes their life just terrible. In reality, I just giggle at it.
Same.
You know?
However, accusing me of doing drugs when I'm trying to make progress in my career, like,
yeah, you know who you are.
Yeah. That was like, I mean, that's a dig like you just don't do, especially in the career fields that we are in. You don't do that. And that's something for me. That's not hurting my feelings, but that just pisses me off. So that's kind of like that. I'm not trying to get even, but I will not filter myself, because when I'm trying to do something positive to change the world and you're trying to like dig and pull me back, shots fired. Like, no.
Yeah.
It says more about your character doing the talking. When you're doing the talking, that says more about you as a shitty person than the person you're talking about. So joke's on you. Like, you look like an idiot.
Well, say this. Say for some reason you had to do a drug test at work and it came back clean like it would.
Be clean.
That's just even more. Well, joke's on you. Here's a giant middle finger to what you're trying to say.
Transparency. I mean, I've smoked weed, but that's about all I've done, and that was a long time ago.
Oh no, the rumors are true.
No,
How
I'm not.
Dare you?
No, but it's just really like, I kind of look at things though, like, do you have nothing better to talk about? Am I that important? Are we that important to people that they just think so highly of us that we need to be a topic of conversation?
Oh, they don't think highly of us at all if all of this is true.
But we must be important to them.
No. Just a way for them to pass time. They do it with everybody.
Oh yeah, that's 100%.
Guaranteed. Yeah. Whatever this get together was, when people left, automatically start talking bad about them. Guaranteed.
When we've been in conversations.
Well, even then, Emily said, as soon as these two people left, they just started talking about them.
Yeah, which is sad, because when you want to have that like genuine like feeling of family, or when you want to have that feeling of friendship, it's not true friendship if you guys are talking about somebody when they leave the room or before they come in a room.
Yeah.
Again, that says more about the person talking.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So.
But it also says a lot about the people who were, say, at this gathering and they didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Cowards.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
It's what it is.
It's full transparency talking about this, though, because you don't solve problems, you don't find solutions without addressing the issues, whether it's hard or not. It's going to be shitty to have to deal with and like manage and navigate, but you have to go through the hard shit to kind of get to the other side. So,
yeah.
Do the work.
That's all anybody asks.
Yeah. So switching this to something more positive.
Okay, here's a positive note. Can you not swear so much?
I'm trying. Okay, take two. I'm switching this up. Can we switch it to something more positive?
Please don't talk like that.
I'm trying really hard to not swear. I had to like literally like force myself to not mouth the words that I want to say, because yeah. What do you think of Emily's and my voices at the end of our podcast?
Oh my God. Cringe. Cringy.
You laughed. You did.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I didn't laugh.
Yes, you did. You're laughing right now.
I am not laughing right now.
You're smiling.
Yeah, I'm smiling, but that's not laughing.
Can you not?
No, it's fine. I was just sitting there like,
what is happening?
God. Yeah. Like, why? Oh my God.
Because we're really crazy. We're really weird.
You're something.
I know.
Yeah.
It's fun.
No, yeah, I mean, that's your guys' little fun dynamic. If that's what you guys do to have fun, so be it.
It brings us joy.
Yeah. Plenty of people do it.
Yeah.
And then there are plenty of people who would do it and then say, oh my gosh, I would never do that.
Liar.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, what's something positive that happened? Why are you grinning like that?
No, I'm just
What
listening.
is something that's positive that happened to you this week?
It's Tuesday.
Last week.
Last week?
Sure. I forgot it was Tuesday. So, terrific Tuesday.
It's Taco Tuesday.
Ugh. Taco Tico Tuesday.
Speaking of, here's something that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? It's a food truck that's coming back into town. That fish one, like the fish and
I
fries
saw
one.
that. We were talking about that at work.
It's like hook on something.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna go. My coworkers and I are gonna go.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's supposed to be really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Taco Tuesday.
It's on Friday.
Taco Friday. Fish Friday.
Oh man.
Whatever.
Either way. Oh, Fish Friday.
I'm such a weirdo.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for that because
really
like the last couple times it's been in town.
There's been like a lot of people who like it.
So yeah, like the last time they were here in town, I didn't get an opportunity because I was working, but I was going to say I'll get it for lunch.
I've never heard of it until my coworker was like, shout out Kyla. She was like, hey, we need to go to this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I've never heard of it.
So I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just didn't get an opportunity because got busy.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited for that.
Do you know what I really, really like want?
I
really want like street tacos. Like just like
you get those at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, but I'm craving street tacos.
Like from a taco truck.
Yeah, a taco truck, like the really good ones.
Yeah.
With like the fresh like salsa and stuff.
Have you seen any of those taco trucks out since it got a little bit warmer?
No.
Interesting.
Because the one that was in the parking lot over there, that was like the orange one. Yeah.
By Hy-Vee?
Yeah. That one's really good.
It is.
It's really good.
Yeah.
The
yellow one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the orange. There's an orange one too.
Yeah, I think there's a blue one too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those are really good. So we are going on our trip.
Yeah, we are.
God, I was so cringy.
Couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, it's gonna be so
exciting.
Much fun.
I'm so excited.
Oh yeah.
What are we doing? Tell people again.
So we are going up to Prior Lake, Minnesota for the Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine 20-year anniversary tour for their debut albums. Both bands debuted in 2005. Trivium with Ascendancy and Bullet for My Valentine with The Poison. So it's a Poison Descendancy tour.
I was really obsessed with Bullet for My Valentine when they came out.
Because
I still am.
Your tears don't fall, they crash around me.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, you're so rude.
I can't wait for that.
It's so exciting.
I cannot wait to see that.
And then we see Trevor Wallace the
next day.
The day after, yeah.
Well, let's just go back to this tour really quick because I am really excited to see Trivium again. Like I told you, and I don't remember if I said this on this podcast or not.
I think you did. I think I know what you're going with this, but yeah.
So, we're in a venue, like a 3,000 person venue.
In a casino.
Yeah, the whatever hotel and casino.
Prior Lake, Minnesota.
The Mystic.
The Mystic, yes. It's in Prior Lake, Minnesota.
Yep.
Mystic Hotel, yep.
Yep. And they've got an event center there.
Yep.
So giant theater for like 3,000 people.
I'm excited for that to see what it looks like.
Yeah, because after we're done here, I'll get on my phone and I'll show you pictures. I don't know if I did or not.
I actually looked it up.
Yeah, so you see it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The venue that we're at, when I was looking at it, I thought we were just going to have the balcony. Because I thought, we've been, I guess, on the floor a lot. And
at our last Trivium show.
Yeah. Which was awesome at the Horizon Event Center there. So down there in Des Moines. So it was
kind of more intimate setting.
Yeah. Well, the event center, Horizon Event Center, is a big place. You probably get a few thousand people in there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. Maybe like 1,000 people.
1,000 probably.
But that was cool. It was on the floor. It was all general admission. Tickets were a really good price, but I guess you want to call it the inflation, whatever Ticketmaster or whoever was doing was like.
It was Ticketmaster. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the general admission tickets. I don't know if you remember me telling you, they were all sold out.
Oh.
Okay. And the only ones that were left were like VIP tickets, which would have been cool, but at the same time, I don't want to spend $345 on a ticket. I saw that. Because I spent like 100. I think I spent $125 per ticket. So I spent $300
For Prior Lake or for
Yeah, for Prior Lake.
Okay.
The Horizon Event Center one was like $45.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You know, but I mean, when we went and seen Five Finger Death Punch at Wells Fargo back last August, and we were there in the seats.
Yeah.
It sounded great, and we got to watch the show.
That was good.
Yeah.
With Marilyn Manson, my fave.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And Alex the Terrible.
Yeah. And we got to see like the entire laser light show that Five Finger Death Punch had.
It was so good.
And all the confetti that they blew out a couple of times. And you could like watch it rain down.
I actually saved some of that, and then I actually read that a story after I saved it that somebody actually got like a disease contracted from touching some of the confetti, staph infection.
Oh yeah. Probably.
And I was like, I'm gonna throw this away.
Yeah.
Good memory, but here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really cool. So I was like, well, let's check the balcony. And I thought the balcony would be like a real balcony where it's like vaulted above the ground.
Right.
Like the ground floor.
Is it not?
No, it's like you take so many steps up and you're up. And it's like just like a giant theater.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool though.
Yeah, so I was like really thinking to myself, and I've told you this, and I'll tell everybody here.
I know what you're gonna say.
Because we're in like the third row,
everybody
second or
tell
third
him
row
no.
of that balcony, and we're close to the end.
You want to jump in that pit?
That's what I'm saying. If there's no like security to say, hey, you can't go beyond this point, and it's just like an open back, because that's what they do in the big theaters.
Yeah.
They just take all the rows of chairs out, and it's just huge. I'm serious. If it's just open like that, I'm telling all of you right now, I'm leaving her at the seat and I'm running into that pit, and I'm going to be going.
Please don't get injured.
Well, this is going to be, these bands came out 20 years ago this year.
So you guys are all going to be old. Yeah,
you're going to be anywhere from, there's, music is multi-generational, so you'll have younger people in there, but Trivium concerts aren't like they have pits, but they're not the kind of pits where you see where dudes are fighting each other.
Do you feel that's a good little side segue into something else? Do you feel like metal concerts, because I've been to all types of concerts, I feel that metal concerts are like the nicest, most genuine people.
Correct.
Versus like rap, hip hop, which I haven't been to any. I don't think I've been to any rap or hip hop concerts, but
yeah. So I've talked to a bunch of people. I've never been to any kind of concert.
Yeah.
That's not heavy metal.
Okay.
Never.
Well,
take that back. Mm-hmm. I remember being a kid and going to the Iowa State Fair with my parents, and we were sitting there and they were watching some concert thing.
Mm-hmm. Was it like a country?
No, it was some like guy from when they were like kids.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, other than that,
mm-hmm.
It's every concert I've been to is a heavy metal concert.
What are all the concerts you've been to? Let's list them right now, and then I'll list mine too.
Okay. Oh God, okay. So my first ever concert
mm-hmm.
was Disturbed at the McElroy Auditorium in Waterloo. Have you ever been there?
No.
Oh, that place. So that auditorium, if you walk in, it's huge. That place is huge. They've got seats on both sides, and they got a huge floor that's got like a concrete wall around it mm-hmm. that goes up maybe like 4 feet. I think I've seen some other pictures of it where they kind of do like cattle shows or like indoor like barrel racing. So something to that effect.
Yeah.
I think it's like 4,000 or 5,000 people. So I've been there twice. 3 times. I've been there 3 times. The first time was in 2006. Disturbed had come out with their 3rd album. No, I'm sorry. It was not 2006. It was 2005. Yeah, it was 2005.
Hailstorm.
No, it was Disturbed.
No, I was saying, is that your next one? At that Waterloo?
Yes.
Weren't they in Waterloo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2005, Disturbed. They had a band called Fireball Ministry. Never heard of them. Another band. Never heard of them. And I was on the floor. I was 16. I was with two friends. Had a great time. Disturbed was amazing. Amazing.
They're a really good band.
At that point in time, that was my favorite band.
Yeah.
Had time of my life.
Yeah.
And then 2008, I saw Mudvayne in the Valor Ballroom in Des Moines. They had a band called Snot there.
Ew.
And that's an old school, like, new metal band. They came out like mid-90s. And then they also had, you remember 10 Years?
Yeah.
They had 10 Years with them.
Oh.
That was awesome. Seeing Mudvayne live, too, was
really cool.
awesome. That show, that was insane. Like, that was like, the whole crowd was a pit. Like, when I was at Disturbed, we were by, like, some, like, people who are older than us. So,
right.
like, and, like, there's, like, a few pits, but, like, nothing crazy. But, like, people were crowd surfing, like,
for sure,
left and right for Disturbed. It was awesome. I remember, speaking to that, I remember the craziest thing I saw. This girl come flying over my head, right? And landed on this big dude in front of me. He grabs her off him and throws her. And she's not a big lady by any means. She's tiny. And she, like, her legs hook on somebody. And then she falls and hits her head on the concrete.
Oh my God.
And this dude was like a roided out guy. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And she's like, oh, screaming and grabbing her head. I'm like, I thought she died. I was like, that lady just died.
That's why you don't crowd surf.
And I was like, metal concerts are crazy.
Yeah, no.
Which they're a lot
they
of crazy.
Can be
but
crazy.
A few years later, seeing Mudvayne, the whole crowd was a giant pit.
Oh, for sure. I could see that.
Going left, right, up, down.
Get some bruises on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great time, though. Mudvayne was amazing.
Yeah.
That's the one time I've seen them.
Cool.
So that was 2008. And then the next concert that I had was 2009. It was my first Slipknot show at Wells Fargo Arena. It was their 10th, because 2009 was their 10-year anniversary tour. So they've been out 10 years. And they had just put out a fourth album in late 2008, and I saw them in January of 2009, the day before my sister's birthday. One of the best concerts I've ever been to. It was amazing. Getting to see that stuff. Holy crap. My favorite band in the world at that point in time. Still my favorite band in the world. Got to see them. My first time seeing Trivium. And so I remember in my early 20s and stuff, because 2009 I was 20 years old. I remember just a lot of people talking about Trivium and saying like how they suck and they were just crap. And I was like, yeah, screw that band. And I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about. And so Slipknot had Trivium and Coheed and Cambria. You ever hear of them? He's got that big caveman looking lead singer who sounds like a woman.
Yeah.
Not impressed by that band. They got good songs, but I'm like, I just can't vibe with that. But I saw Trivium because they opened. And we were right down on the floor. Like, we were one of the first people in, and we ran down there. And we were like, if you want to say like third to fifth row. And then they started playing. I was like, these guys are amazing. Why do people say they suck? And Slipknot came out, played, and just destroyed that place. Yeah. I mean, I'm going on a big rant here, but I guess, I was also hitting the
It's okay.
thing. Yeah. So then, I mean, after like 2012, I saw Stone Sour, Hailstorm, a bunch of people at the McElroy. And then that was 20. Yeah. And in 2013, saw Five Finger Death Punch for the first time on the Trespass America tour. Saw like Amir, Trivium again. Amazing. Killswitch Engage. They got the original lead singer back. And, oh my God. Let me just go on this little side rant. I'm sorry. I'm wasting your time here,
okay.
But
you're fine.
This is just like a big thing for me. And
I was just gonna list my bands that I saw.
So I can't do that.
It's okay.
This is the thing. Like when you talk to
Concerts
somebody who loves heavy metal, they don't just tell you the bands they see, they tell you the concerts and like the environment
But
and
that's
how
what I
it
like
was.
hearing, though. It's like
Yeah.
you have to be like there too, because it's like a whole like
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that Trespass America tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, they started off with this band called Battle Cross, which they
Never
were a
heard
brand
of.
new band.
Uh-huh.
They have this song called Push Pull Destroy. Oh my god.
Are they still a thing?
No, they disbanded after like their second or third album, which sucked.
Yeah.
And then I saw this band called The Mirror, and they're still around, but I mean, like the 2010s is like when they were like bigger.
Okay.
Heaven Shall Burn, I got to see them. That was really cool. And then watched Trivium, because I didn't know Trivium was there until I saw them bring out their big like logos. I was like, oh my god,
Trivium is so good.
Yeah, and like they turned all the lights off and they were playing the intro for their fourth album, because it came out in 2012, and they started off, the last song they play now, In Waves. Well, that they used to start their concerts with that, so it just went from Pitch Black to that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man,
for sure.
And then after that, they started setting up. Because I was with the ex-wife at the time, and we were like, I wonder who's next. And some dude was like, it's Killswitch Engage. I'm like, oh, no way. Because
you did your little voice.
Yeah, Killswitch Engage is one of like,
they're really good.
Like after I found Disturbed, I found Killswitch Engage, and like their first album, Alive or Just Breathing, it's some consider it like a heavy metal masterpiece. Mm-hmm. And it's from beginning to end, it's like a perfect album. Mm-hmm. And they had a few after that, and they had this lead singer, Howard Jones, and they'd done a bunch of awesome stuff with him. I was like, this is going to be cool. And Howard Jones is a black guy, but I see a white guy come out, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Jesse Leach. That's the original lead singer.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
He's back.
Nice.
And I was like looking around to see if Howard was going to come out to see like maybe both of them were singing. Like,
yeah.
Nope. I missed the news that Howard Jones had left the band.
Oh, wow.
And Jesse Leach had come back. And he's the lead singer now since then. Mm-hmm. But they like collab with Howard and all that stuff too.
Nice.
Still. Because Howard wanted to go off and do other projects.
Yeah.
Anyways, then after that, Five Finger Death Punch came on.
Yep.
And it was their American Capitalist album, To Recycle. It was their third album. Oh my god. That was amazing. Trivium's never been a bad show. Five Finger Death Punch has never been a bad show. Slipknot's never been a bad show. I've seen Disturbed twice now. Never been a bad show. I gotta see Korn in 2016 at. So I went to Chicago Open Air. That's a big 3-day music festival in 2016. I gotta see Rammstein, the German. You remember hearing about them, the German band?
Yes.
Because they play
so good.
So Chicago Open Air was at the soccer stadium there, because Chicago has a professional soccer team. Who knew, right? Chicago Fire, I think that's what they're called, or something, or Flames, or something like that.
Weird.
Right. But so the main stage was in the soccer stadium, and the side stage was in the parking lot on like the far end. Remember Baby Metal?
Yes.
I gotta see Baby Metal there.
Yes, the girls are obsessed with that.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Because
so Japanese, like,
it's hilarious. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
They have like a pop feel, so
yeah. They bring a lot of like fun, high energy to.
It's good, yeah.
To a music scene that's supposed to be scary, brooding, evil, Satan. They bring Japanese pop music, and their band, the Kamikaze band, I think that's what they call them, are like top tier. And Butcher Babies.
Yeah.
They were the first band to play.
Them and In This Moment are my two favorite.
I saw In This Moment there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They played the main stage. Although they had like a 45-minute set, they only played 6 songs because Maria Brink changed her outfit every time. I'm like, if I went to one of their shows, which I'd like to do, I feel like it'd be like a couple hours just because she's changing her outfits.
Yeah.
But I have seen one of their live DVDs, and it looks awesome. Yeah. Like their stage production is amazing.
I have friends who went to those.
Yeah, well, I bet
In This
great.
Moment, and they love it. And Butcher Babies too.
Yeah.
But those are my two favorite female.
Yeah. That I got to see. So I got to see Korn. The one time I've seen Korn, that was amazing. Rammstein, amazing.
Hmm.
Disturbed the second time, amazing. That's where I saw Marilyn Manson for the first time. Terrible.
You know, he did not have a rib removed to suck his own thing.
Yeah, I know. That was all just a
That's
rumor.
such a sad rumor, though, because that would have been so cool.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, moving on. And like I said, I'm wasting a lot of time on this, and most of you people are probably like, "Who cares? No one." But like,
Fast forward.
he was like super like drunk and high. He was like, instead of singing in the microphone, like he'd like hold it off to the side, or he'd like hold it down. He would scream, and like the last song he plays is the "Beautiful People" song.
Mm-hmm.
3/4 of the song, he was just like crawling around the stage, and like you could see security trying to like drag him back around.
Oh, Marilyn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Interesting.
And then I saw Slipknot there. They headlined last night.
How many times have you seen Slipknot? That's just
Uh,
like 4 or 5, 6, 7.
6 to 7.
Okay.
And then I've seen Trivium 6 to 7 times as well. So I think this next Trivium concert will be, they'll take the top
Yeah.
for how many times I've seen the band.
Nice.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't move on until I tell you about seeing Lamb of God and Machine Head.
Okay. Make it quick.
I don't know if I can. Okay. 20 let's rewind the clocks here a little bit.
Okay.
So in 2011 to 2012, the lead singer of Lamb of God, Randy Bly, was arrested in the Czech Republic for murder. So they were at a concert and they accused Randy of pushing a fan off the stage, and that fan had hit his head on the ground. Well, he ended up leaving the concert and then died.
Oh, shit.
So like a manslaughter charge,
Yeah.
Well, they arrested him when the plane landed, when they went back to the Czech Republic for a tour, and he was thrown into prison. Like, I guess that's how they do it there. It's like you're guilty till you're found innocent.
Yeah.
And they throw you in prison. So he was there for months. There was this huge thing across the heavy metal community of free Randy, free Randy. Well, come to be that Randy, the guy that was pushed off, and because they had there was like video recording of it too. The guy that got pushed off was not the dude who died. That guy who got pushed off actually came and said, "No, that's me." And I went home after that. So, but this guy who did die was from like a result of like drug use, but he had gone to that same Lamb of God concert. Right. So Randy spent months in a Czech prison, and then he got released. Well, at the same time, Slipknot here in the United States was having their first ever Knotfest concert, their concert. And I was like, well, of course I'm going to the number one. It's in Pacific Junction, Iowa or whatever. So with the ex-wife still, we went. Lamb of God played. That was Randy Bly's first show back. And they have it in their, like, Lamb of God has a documentary. They do documentaries. I don't think they really do them anymore, but like in like the 2010s, like 2000s, like bands would do like
I miss those days.
film documentaries, for like tour cycles. Well, they had that. And they showed the footage of it. That crowd, that was the craziest crowd I've ever been in. That was the craziest, most violent crowd I've ever seen. That place erupted. It was insane.
Creepy.
And the band prior to play was a band called Machine Head, and they were on a European tour. Well, they came back from Europe to take Lamb of God's slot because Lamb of God was going to play there. But like, well, Randy's in prison.
Yeah. Do you know something that's really weird? As I'm Czechoslovakian, so my
that explains
ancestors.
things.
Yeah. Wow, rude. My
Yeah.
ancestors are from the Czech Republic.
Yeah. So that's the
and
first time.
Italian.
Yeah.
But
Well, that explains a lot too.
a little off my rocker.
So that was the first time I got to see Machine Head, and that was amazing. Oh my god, they have these things, and called circle pits. And circle pits, it's just what it sounds like. A giant people get in a giant circle and they just run in a giant circle and there's a big opening in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest circle pit I ever saw in my life. I didn't know it happened. I turned around because the ex-wife was right next to me, and so were my buddies that we all met up with. I turn, she's gone. There's just people running by me. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I see like the other side of the field. It's so big, right? So that was cool. They blew the power and everything. It was crazy. And then I saw Machine Head in 2015 at Woolies in Des Moines. And Woolies ain't a big place, a few hundred people.
Right.
They played for like 2.5 hours.
Do you want to know something? You've never told me that.
No?
I was there.
You were where?
I was at Woolies for Machine Head.
What
in 2015. Year?
Shut the hell up.
I was.
Where?
With my ex-husband.
Where were you standing?
I think towards the back because I was.
What's at the back? What's the back
wall?
Oh,
shit, I don't know. I haven't been. Every time I've been in there, I've been fucking blasted. Like, just fucking drunk as shit.
Really?
Yes, 100%. We went there all the time for concerts. All the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like, I've seen a ton of people there.
I was right up by the gate. Well,
No, I was not
up by the gate. You know my friend Chris.
Yep.
And his sister Val.
Mm-hmm.
So is Chris, Val, Joe, and Shane.
Yeah. You've never told me that, though, because I'm like, wait. I was like, I was there.
I still have the picture.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen that, maybe.
It's in my phone, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, weird.
That's like.
We used to go to Woolies all the time.
Yeah, that was amazing. They killed it like 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. They played everything. Mm-hmm. It was so awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Wow. And then you and we went and saw Ghost.
Yeah, Ghost, highly 10 out of 10.
That was like another 2.5 hours. We saw him in Ames.
Yeah.
At Iowa State at the
whatever center.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh, crap. That was so good.
Yeah, that was good. That's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Experience. Or 100 experience. Yeah.
So yeah. So we're
your first concert versus my first concert, night and day difference though.
What was your first concert?
Britney Spears, Phoenix, Arizona. She was 3 hours late. Knowing now what Britney went through, it probably explains a lot.
Well, yeah.
Britney Spears. Yeah. I went to rock and heavy metal concerts, but not most of them have been with you because nobody wants to go with me.
People who are like, oh no, that's way too dangerous. I will say there are bands where dudes will just straight up fight each other. They'll do like what's called crowd killing, and that's just guys who are like they will just go and start punching and kicking people. And then they've got these things called other people, they call them hardcore kids. And what hardcore kids will do, they'll start just throwing their limbs and kicking and all that crap. Just, and they're all enjoying it, but I'm not about that life. I've never been about that. Like,
yeah, no.
Like, because I've been in enough rough crowds where none of that's happening. And it's just like, they call them push pits where people are shoving each other or bumping into each other. Those can get extremely violent. Like, there are times I keep my arms up because I've been caught before with my arms down and I can't move, because people are swaying back and forth. Mm-hmm. I can't count how many times I've been picked up off the ground just by the crowd moving, like my feet leave the ground and I can't move.
That's creepy.
I'm just like, yeah. So I know we've been talking about myself. Like I said, I've been taking up a lot of time. But,
no, I like hearing about it though.
Oh, I got so much more. I could go on for like a couple hours.
Okay, well, we'll save that for a different day.
What about yours?
Like
you said, Britney Spears. What was that? How was that? What was that like? What was the environment like?
So it was in the mountains, and it was really cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. It was on like this field. I don't know where exactly it was because it was when I was 11.
Okay.
And so it was back, in the day when she was like really, really popular. Her "Oops, I Did It Again" type of time. But it was in the mountains and it was at dusk.
Do you remember who the opening acts were? Did she have any?
I do not. But I've seen Britney. So one of my favorite concerts that I went to, I saw Poison
Mm.
and Bret Michaels. Like back in the day, he was my
Doesn't he have
heartthrob.
hepatitis?
I don't know. Does
No,
he?
that's Tommy Lee.
I think that's Tommy Lee. Um, but I saw
Maybe.
them. I saw ZZ Top.
That'd be
That
cool.
was cool. I've seen Chevelle.
I've seen Chevelle.
Chevelle is really good.
Yeah.
That's one of my top
Yeah, I've
concerts.
seen Chevelle twice.
Pop Evil. I don't know if you've heard
I've
of.
seen Pop Evil.
I was in the front row at that concert, and he was like grabbing my hand and like singing to me the whole time, and it was like I
That's
was
cool.
drenched in sweat, and I was like literally just like fell in love for a second because
Yeah.
it was like yeah, and it was pouring rain, so that made it even cooler.
So, just really quick.
Yeah.
So, Pop Evil, they were at that Trespass America tour. And he come out into, did he come out into the crowd at all and had the crowd hold him up? He didn't do that. So he did that. So he did that in Waterloo.
Yeah.
And he was singing and he was like going, and all of a sudden he's like, oh fuck, and he fell backwards and like into the crowd, and then they like threw him back up.
Their song Boss's Daughter was like on repeat in my car every time I was in the car. Like I just was like, I would dance to that in my bathroom. Like,
yeah,
I was like the hoe for the Boss's Daughter. Like, I fucking loved it. I've seen Slipknot. Back in my hometown, we used to have a thing called Steamboat Days.
Mm-hmm.
It got canceled because all the but Blake Shelton came. My mom and I were gonna go to it.
Yeah, because you know those bangers love Blake. Bangers for Blake.
Yeah. But my mom and I were supposed to go. My mom and I got there right before Blake was about to come on. My mom passed out. Oh. And I had to take her home. My dad had to come get her. And she's like, no, just stay for the concert. So I did not stay. I went and bought the CD and then I went home instead. I've seen Nelly. That was good.
Yeah. So I liked Nelly.
Yeah.
I grew up when Country Grammar came out, you know.
His Air Force One's album was like my favorite.
Yeah. So like from time to time, like, you know, I love metal, but time to time, like like anybody, like I'll go onto YouTube and like I'll listen to the Country Grammar album.
Ludacris was another one of my favorites. I have not seen him in concert, but he would be somebody I would still want to see now. And then when I was 16, and you're gonna probably make fun of this, but it was cool in the moment. I saw Jason Aldean and I was able to meet him, and no, stop. That was cool because that was when he was first like famous.
Yeah.
I met Jake Owen.
I don't know who that is.
He's a country singer. I actually touched Luke Bryan's butt. It was not on purpose, but he was like bent down singing to the crowd. My friends and I were in the front row. It was the same night as Pop Evil. And so it was pouring rain. It was actually thunderstorming, and like he had to kind of cut it short, but I still have a picture where me being 18, 19 years old, took off my shirt. I had a bra on, and I threw my shirt on stage, and he signed a shirt, threw it back to me. Wasn't my shirt, but I kept it. And it was really cool because he was really big at that time. And so that was cool.
I'm pretty sure he still is.
Well, yes, but like when he was like, that was like his
right when he hit
when he hit big. Okay. So it was like in like kind of like
when he was the guy for country.
When he was the guy, the top, yes, he was getting so he was getting all the attention. Like that's when I saw him, and that was really, and I was like, he touched my hand, and it was like, but it was so cool in the pouring rain because, like, I mean, you're on the riverfront. So for anybody who doesn't know, when I'm talking about Steamboat Days, it was like literally right next to the river.
The Mississippi River.
Yep. And so like you have the big bridge, which, you know, kind of like is cool because it lights up at night. You have the bridge, you have people on boats listening to the music. You are right by the river. It's pouring rain. It's a vibe like you cannot describe. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, you can't like when we saw Slipknot at Waterworks Park.
Yeah.
With, you know, like if the weather's like decent, like say like it's raining or like there's like a little bit like a thunderstorm coming through, and you have all that in the background too. Like
for
that
sure.
Like really, like I said, it like makes a
Oh, it was
difference.
amazing. I saw Alice Cooper.
Oh, that'd be fun.
He was awesome. And he actually went golfing in Burlington.
Oh
And so
yeah,
like right before, so
yeah.
it was cool.
He's an avid golfer.
Yeah. And then I went to a couple concerts with my ex-husband and I can't remember which ones. I have so much of that time period. I feel like I blocked out a lot of good memories with him purposefully.
Natural.
Yeah.
I did the same thing with my
But
ex-wife.
we went to Woolies a lot. Like that was
Yeah.
it's so weird because like
But
thinking about it now, like we
yeah,
were in the same place at the same time,
yeah,
probably so many times.
yeah,
Because we always got tickets because
yeah.
of
Well, it's so easy too to
yeah.
like for like to when you live down that Des Moines area to
Yeah.
remember when we went to Trivium
Yeah.
at the Horizon Event Center, we met that couple there.
Yeah, from
And
Fort Dodge.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the
It's
wife
cool.
was from Fort Dodge.
The wife was from Fort Dodge. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, the husband was like, yeah, that's the great thing about living down here
For
is,
sure.
you know, I can be to work, I can check this, like, oh, this band is here, buy the tickets, go see
Yeah.
the concert, get home. And he's like, yeah, get home at like, what, like 8, like get like home at like 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night,
Go to sleep,
go to
work
sleep,
the
get
next
up,
day.
go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, when he said that, I was like, oh man, dude, I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what we used to do all the time.
yeah.
And I mean, I will say there was a lot of really bad in my marriage, but like there was good. And like concerts were, it always felt like an escape.
Yeah.
And so whether, you know, I was happy or not in that time, like that was kind of like an escape for me. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a good time
Yeah.
for sure. I'm excited for more concerts. Obviously, I've seen Ghost with you, and I really like Ghost. Slipknot, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
For sure. So.
Yeah. So. Sorry, everyone. I just grabbed my phone. I had to show Lindsay that picture from the Machine Head.
Which is awesome.
Behind Val.
I'm going to upload this.
Yeah.
Maybe if I can, but that's cool. Yeah.
It was so awesome.
Yeah.
Fun fact, you see that lady there who's on,
mm-hmm.
She kept grabbing my butt all night. I was like, no, thank you.
Let me see.
I was like, please stop.
Oh, she's tasty.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Maybe that's her name.
It looks like a tasty. Yeah.
Right.
I've had so much fun at concerts. Like it's like an escape from reality.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Which I think, kind of going back to the beginning of this podcast episode, like we seem to need an escape from reality here in Dodge. So I'm excited to get out of Dodge, as the saying goes, and go and have fun, because I don't want any bad energy in my life. I don't want any bad energy in our lives. And it's really funny because so the last moon that we had, the last like energy shift that we've had among everything, and I know you're probably rolling your eyes or whatever, I don't care. It said that there was going to be like a new life, new energy, new things, like the truth was going to come out. And it's very interesting because I'm very aligned. You know this. I'm very aligned with like
your
astrology.
Chakras.
Yeah, my chakras. I try to align all my chakras. I know that sounds ridiculous, but when your mind, your body, and your soul are all connected and they're all aligned, things go in your favor.
So it's funny that you say that about the chakra thing. I don't think you're crazy on that. I've seen a few other things about it, but
yeah.
Was it 2 years ago when you were doing like those videos like on YouTube?
Yeah.
About like
So give people background on what you're talking about.
So, well, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay. So Lindsay would play these videos, and I thought she was nuts.
They were sound baths.
Sound baths.
Yes.
And I thought you were nuts. I'm like, that is the dumbest thing in the world. I can't believe she's doing this.
What in the hell is wrong with her?
And then I got curious one night. So,
was I here?
Yeah, you all. Yeah, everybody was.
Okay.
And so I went to bed early because I had to work the next day.
Yeah.
But I was having like some just issues trying to fall asleep and stay asleep kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm going to try this. Well, so I found that video and I tried it.
Is it the one where you align your chakras?
So it's some guy. It starts off like the red and then
it's
goes.
It's a sound bath. Yes, it changes colors.
Yep. And like it was so crazy because he had that little, is like almost like a little bell gong thing, and it
Yeah.
creates that high pitched noise, like right, like because like I closed my eyes like it said to do,
Mm-hmm.
and that happened,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what it was, but like that something clicked inside my mind
For
that
sure.
just took whatever, because like I was just having like my mind was racing, and that like happened,
Mm-hmm. That
and it,
frequency.
yeah, it just stopped it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts doing whatever with like those, are they bowls or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
and
they're
he's,
bowls and it's got a little like I don't want to say spoon, but like this little thing that goes around the outside. It creates different frequencies of sound
yeah,
to
from the
match your
like from the
energies and
friction and all that,
yeah,
and like
yeah.
it went through all that, and it's like every time it changed to different chakras, like they did that, I'm like,
It's supposed to align your mind, body, and soul.
yeah.
Yeah.
And i I was so relaxed,
Mm-hmm.
and I slept good that
Yeah.
night, and like
I do that
I woke up
regularly
feeling
though.
really good too.
I do that regularly and I talk about holistic health and people probably like I don't care what people think necessarily like if you guys want to think I'm all crazy for talking about and not necessarily witchcraft but people think that saging is witchcraft but like removing toxic energy or negative energy from your space.
Yeah,
Um people have said it's witchcraft, it's not. But things like that the where like you're aligning your spirit or you're like removing toxic people from your life by saging your home or doing little practices of mindfulness and meditation,
yeah,
that honestly like I don't know, 10 years ago I probably would have been like what the fuck is that, like what, no.
yeah,
But I am so much more at peace. And like even doing like the cortisol cleanses of like magnesium and things like that at night, that has started to save my life. I'm noticing like I'm losing weight now because I think, and Emily and I talked about this on the podcast, is like when you remove those toxic people from your life or when you like learn the truth, it's almost like that weight is lifted and you can like have the permission to kind of move on, that validation to kind of like, okay, now I know, so now I can let it go.
yeah,
That has saved my life, I feel, because
yeah,
I went through a lot, the past couple years.
yeah,
And I've held on to this belief that like I needed answers, which I realize you're not always going to have answers, but doing those videos, doing meditation, even like doing the pressure point therapy or like thing like stretching, like there's like yoga that I've been doing and things like that
yep,
that are mindfulness techniques that has literally pushed all my negative feelings out and I don't feel like I need answers to everything anymore.
that's good, because I mean, obviously in life you're not going to get answers for everything,
Right.
as much as you want it, and I think the thing that brings on the stress is just that want
Yeah.
to have those answers, and it just,
Which is human nature.
oh, 100%.
But I think for me, and I've been trying to search, and I know on that podcast episode with Emily, part 2,
Mm-hmm.
I talk about why. Why do people, why do these people who we've referred to, why do they feel the need to talk about people? Why do they feel, why, and if you are listening and you were part of that, why did you feel the need to tear us down? You don't even know me.
That was going to be something I was just going to say. If this stuff is true, which we've
Why?
had 3 separate people now within the past,
Week.
how long? Well, 2 people in a
2 people in a
week, and
week.
then somebody.
But 5 people told me that rumor altogether.
Yeah. So, and it's all pretty consistent. Like,
Yeah, it's the same thing. Just
why? Why would you? Why, like you say, why? Why would you come at us?
and the
Like,
thing that I don't understand. So I don't know if I've talked about this. I've talked about this with somebody today, earlier in the day. And I'm going to say this with I'm being very careful with how I word this. But on the first part with Emily and I, we talked about me overhearing her being talked about at a funeral. Well, fast forward to a while later, I hear, I post, I'm going to, for reference, I post a picture of my best friend and I, who, and when I know I've said that I don't have male friends. Okay, this was like prior to being with you, prior to being cheated on. Well, not to being cheated on, but
talking about
finding out.
Carlos.
Yes. I'm going to say this. Carlos was the closest thing to having a brother and having that closeness of a sibling. I considered him a brother. He saved me in a really dark time, got me out of a really dark time that I was not all mentally there for.
During your first marriage?
Yes, during my first marriage. I was not in love with him, but the amount of love I had for him was unconditional and it was immeasurable because he helped me get through something that I didn't think I was going to survive. And I truly believe with all my heart that he helped me get out of that. I think that he helped me find the truth. I really do. I believe that with every fiber of my being. But for reference, I posted this picture of me and him on his anniversary when he was killed in action. And I said, I love you with all my heart. And I got a message from a police wife. I'm not going to name her. And she said, oh, was that your boyfriend? That's really disrespectful to your current husband. And I said, no, that wasn't my boyfriend. And I was proceeded to be called a badge bunny. And for reference, whoever is listening to this is going to know who it was. Like if you're the one that said it. And I took so much offense to that because I later found out that this was being talked about and that I didn't know what it felt like to lose somebody in the Blue family and that I was just looking for sympathy.
This was like 2 years ago?
No, I think 2 to 3 years ago. I'm not sure when.
Yeah.
You remember it
I remember
briefly.
because you shared his end of watch picture.
Mm-hmm. Which I share every year because I'm not going to forget him.
And it said, and if I remember right, it said
my best friend.
Yeah, your best friend. And then like it said end of watch or like EOW on it.
Which like, briefly I want to share so I am very spiritual. I think people probably know that by now. Emily and I have talked about that. We've talked about a little bit that I'm very spiritual. The person that took my best friend's life that night, the bar that he came from, when he left that bar, got into a vehicle, drunk driving, which by the way, do not drink and drive. I don't care if you're a cop or not okay. And this person that hit him was not a cop. He took the only stability that I had in my life. So that's something I don't think I will ever come to terms with the fact that I've lost a lot of friends. I've had a lot of friends die. From a young age in high school, I've lost a lot of friends. But this person left the bar, and this was the last place that Carlos and I had a drink and hung out. And I think that's so weird. I've never been back there. I've driven by it in Des Moines.
Isn't it closed?
No.
It closed, but reopened?
It closed for a while. It reopened. I don't know if it's under new ownership or what, but I just find that to be so ironic.
Yeah.
That out of all bars in the Des Moines area, that the last bar that we hung out at, the last good memories that I have with him was the bar that the person that took his life left right before he took 3 people's lives in his own, because he also passed in the accident. Did? Yes. So
I thought he didn't.
For context, there was a new exit off the interstate. He went down the wrong way, going 120 miles an hour, and my best friend was driving. He was a police officer on duty with another.
He was field training that.
He was
that new officer.
They were going together. I don't think he was field training. I think that was when they were on their own. They had just gotten on their own, and they were driving together because they had to go to Council Bluffs to get an inmate and bring her back to Des Moines. That's what happened, because was
the inmate in the car?
Yes, the inmate passed as well.
Oh.
So,
okay.
So what happened was I was actually supposed to do a ride along with him that night. He texted me an hour before and was like, hey, I have to go to Council Bluffs. Okay, cool. Text me, Snapchat me, because he always sent videos. And for reference, he was Mexican, Hispanic, his little Spanish videos, and he would do his little accent, which cracked me up because he just was hilarious. Like, you had to know him. He was just a really good guy, really funny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Snapchat me, text me when you get back, whatever. so I can, I'll stay up and maybe I'll ride with you,
Yeah.
whatever. Because, we'd already signed everything. And so he's like, okay, yeah, it's cool. Okay. They go, they pick up this woman, they come back, they're on their way back. They're going towards Des Moines. This other car is going out past Des Moines, and it was right off the Waukee area exit.
So they had just gotten back to the Des Moines area.
Yeah, they were just getting back into the Des Moines area, and this vehicle was going about, I think, 120, and he didn't have his lights on. So which I know my best friend, he would have definitely done anything he could have to stop, but he didn't have his lights on. And
depending where you're at, you're not going to see a vehicle until it's
he didn't, because it was pitch black. It was not in town, so it was still out of town.
Yeah,
it was out by the Veterans Cemetery up by Adele, kind of that area. They played the 911 call, gut wrenching, from another vehicle when they were, oh my gosh, the driver's vehicle burst into flames. He died. And my best friend and the other officer who was involved, she was really well recognized as well, and she had a husband.
And she was still rather new, correct?
They both graduated.
Yeah, from the DMPD Academy.
Yes.
So
yeah,
well, Carlos was an officer.
He was already a certified officer. Yeah.
Was she brand new?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the reason why I say that is because I don't know if you remember this, but a guy that works for my department, went to the ILEA Academy with Carlos.
Okay. Oh, with her. Okay, with Carlos. Okay.
Because when you shared that,
yes,
he saw it and asked how you knew him, and then I told him the backstory between you and him.
Can you remind me who that was? Okay. Yeah.
So, and he was like, "Hey, how does your wife know Carlos?" And I was like, he was friends with her ex-husband, and he was there. The two of them were like best friends, they were always like brother sister kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's insane kind of shit. He's like, but
he was also my son's godfather.
He's like, and I won't say his name, but he was like, man, that's small world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's like that connection thing.
Yeah, that's so weird. But yeah, that was finding that out and being pregnant with my daughter. I didn't eat for days. I remember just crying a lot. And then I talked to a girl that I had coffee with, and she was actually at the funeral for Carlos.
Yeah.
And so she was like, oh, I was at that funeral. I was like, oh, weird. And I was sitting up towards closer to the family area. But it was just really like, yeah, when you say like, yeah, we were brother, sister, like we spent all of our time together. Like he had kids, he was, it was a big family unit. And so like not having that anymore, having gone through that loss, having lost my best friend in high school, and also having friends who were, murdered, taken.
The Bentler family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot of podcasts out there, and I've talked to my good friend about this, who is related to them. There's a lot of podcasts out there that have a lot of misinformation about that, and that's something like eventually I would like to be able to clear the air on, but I'm going to wait for her permission, and we're going to do that together. But it's just like, that's a hell of a lot of loss. Like that's a lot.
Yeah. You had that whole family.
Yeah.
And then, I'll say it. Like, I think when we started dating, like you told me, like, I think there was like 2, 3, 4 times when you would call me and you were crying, you're like, oh my God, this person just died.
You probably think I was like insane.
No.
Oh.
No. You're like, this person just died in a car accident. You're like, I went to high school with them, or I went to college with them. Like, or like,
yeah.
And I was like, holy crap, because it was always on or near the turnoff from the highway to Fort Madison there.
All the time.
Kind of like that little back road one,
Mm-hmm.
always around there. And he's always had something to do, like, a drunk
drinking.
driver.
Mm-hmm.
That was just insane.
Well, there was also a crash in high school. I think I was a junior in high school. There was actually some girls who were drinking and driving, and I think 3 girls and 2 boys died in a car accident around that same area. But I look back on a lot of that, and like my friend Cara, her episode will be coming out soon. Episodes will be coming out soon. We talk about the fact that we had a lot of loss really early in life, and so we had to learn how to like grieve
deal with that
and how to deal with it. Like, I mean, our best friend died in high school, and that was completely out of the blue, and like, God bless her soul, she was the sweetest thing. I mean, I think she was truly like a gift sent from heaven. Never said a bad word about anybody. I've never met anybody so nice in my entire life. Like, my whole heart. Yeah. And that was a really hard loss for me. And then in college, I witnessed a boat accident, which I was part of, kind of. And that was really traumatic. And there's just a lot.
You're talking about when that other boat crashed? Yeah. In a boat that didn't have its lights on at night?
Yeah. And so, which I probably won't get.
Due to drinking.
Yeah, and methamphetamine use, but not from me, from the other person that was driving.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm clarifying because
didn't have their lights.
I've been accused of doing drugs, so I just want to clarify that.
Right.
But it all goes back to the fact that up here, moving from my hometown to Dodge, I have been accused of just not understanding and not knowing, and
loss better than anybody.
I do,
and to say, and another thing, like, oh, you don't know, it's like blue line loss. It's like,
I do.
But you do.
And I know it firsthand.
Yeah.
I helped pack up Carlos's apartment, and that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And this sounds really weird probably to the random person listening, but it was a mixture of comfort and like gut-wrenching grief to smell his cologne on his shirts for the last time while packing it up with his fiance.
Do you remember the brand?
No, but oh God, it smelled like he might as well have bathed in it.
Was it from like Walmart?
No.
Was it?
Oh, he had top tier. Top tier.
He wasn't wearing Yoop?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, no. Man.
I mean, but he would always wear like the white t-shirts. He wore white t-shirts all the time. So, but we packed it up.
Interesting.
We packed it up with his fiance and his mom. That was very hard. And so, to the person listening, whoever the hell listens to this, I don't know. But like that dig that a certain police wife took at me, you don't know what it's like to lose somebody in blue family. No, honey, sit down, because I do. And that loss has followed me my entire,
since it
9 years, yeah. 9 years since it's happened. And that was the closest thing to losing like a spouse or a partner that I felt, because I've lost a couple best friends, and that sounds really weird. Like don't be like, oh, well, don't get close to her because whatever. That's not what I'm saying. It's just I've had like the people who I've lost have taught me the biggest lessons in my life, and I'm so grateful for that. And I know that like Katie and Carlos, and they were all genuinely good people. And you take lessons from people that you come across in life. And those people, sometimes, like they say, God takes the good ones. And I think that's all tied back into the fact that we can learn something from them. And we can take how they lived their life or what they've done with their life, and we can make something good out of it.
Right.
And, this podcast, it's never something I ever would have thought I would have done, but this podcast is about being relatable and trying to spread positivity and being honest. And in all honesty, a lot of people who have been mean to me in this town don't know me. If anyone takes anything from this podcast episode or any of the episodes in general, just, sit down and try not to judge people. Your judgments and your assumptions of who we are, or as a couple, or who I am as a person, or whatever, or whoever, it doesn't have to be me, but it hurts,
100%. Yeah. People, like you say, who don't know us have no right to judge. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, I understand grieving and loss. Like when I was deployed, a guy in my company was killed.
Yeah.
You know, we made damn sure that a lot of those guys who were a part of the organization that got him killed, we made sure a lot more of them died before we left. But that's hard. Like dealing, like grieving with like survivor's guilt, essentially.
Yeah.
Trying
Yeah.
like why did the good ones go? It's always the good ones that go. It seems like.
Yeah.
Another, you know, I guess I don't know where I was going to go with that. I got distracted by
It's hard though.
a
Survivor's
notification on my
guilt.
phone.
I mean,
What?
survivor's guilt.
So it's hard. Like why am I still alive and this person's dead? This person was a better person than me. They did better things than me. They were liked by everybody.
Yeah.
Why am I still here?
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I mean, I get it. I get why people are the way they are. I get why. You know. I get the loss too. It sucks, especially with somebody in line of duty, line of service, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I understand it. Is it fair? No. Do I think it's God's plan for somebody to get murdered? No.
No. He
God's
gave
got
us
a plan
free will.
for people, but he gave us free will, so someone else's free
Yep.
will said, I'm going to take you from this world.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be intentional or accidental.
Something I've had to really learn though through that is, and I'm probably going to I'm going to talk about this in a later episode. I've honestly just not been ready to address it yet, is how do you forgive other people? Because I'm working, and I've mentioned this in an episode before. I think I've mentioned it with my cousin. I would like to eventually forgive the person that hurt my children. I don't know if I'll ever get there. I would like to eventually forgive.
Well, forgiveness is for you.
Forgiveness is for you, but I would like to eventually forgive people who have hurt me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what
I'm working on, but it's hard, and it's hard to, I'm not saying.
Look at it this way.
Yeah.
Whoever hurt your children, well, obviously you don't want them named. Fine, perfect. We don't need to. Look this way. If he comes around to God and he asks for forgiveness, prays for it.
Yeah.
He'll be forgiven. Who are you to who are you to hold on to that?
So really quick, you saying that, and being like this podcast is about being honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
That statement made me so anxious just now, and made me 100%. So upset.
100%.
Because we're only human, right?
We have a minuscule amount of understanding.
Yeah.
For everything.
So that upsets me, and I'm like, that's not fair. But then I also have to stop and take a step back and really realize that is not my place. That is beyond my scope
mm-hmm.
as a person
mm-hmm.
on this earth.
It's judgment.
It is.
It's all part of judgment. You're as much as you hate him and all this stuff, it all goes back to the realm of judgment.
You say I hate him. I do have a lot of hate, but what I have more than hate, and I don't think I've ever said this out loud, I have a lot of sadness. I'm sad for the fact that this person took something that could have been so good and just ruined it. I'm sad because it just shows the type of person that this person was or is.
Right.
And it's affected my children.
Yes. I'm going to say this now. You say this person affected and ruined your children. This person affected and ruined your children. They're not ruined.
Yeah.
They are not ruined. And I don't feel as though people should subscribe to being ruined, because
I don't think that's the right context. I'm sorry.
No. You're fine with what you're saying, because okay. I'm going to say this, because people hold on to stuff like that and say, I'm ruined, I'm broken, I can't be fixed.
You're right. And
right?
That's not
and,
the right
and that's
thing.
Such a common thing.
Yes.
They're not ruined.
No.
They're not broken. They run around. They're living regular lives.
And they're excelling.
And they are excelling.
They're so
now from time to time there's some understanding realization since they're getting older
Yeah.
to understand what kind of has happened in life. Now, is that sad? Yes. Does it suck? Yes. But what should happen? Help them to understand that this travesty
Mm-hmm.
that never should have happened to them happened, but to tell them, hey, this is something that has happened to you, and it happened for some weird reason, but the positive in it is you're not the only one.
Yeah.
You're not the first. You're not the last. There's be people after you that this has happened to. That you, not now, not as a small child,
As an adult.
probably more likely as an adult
Yeah.
to run into a child that had that same thing, and be that solid foundation to say, hey, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah. When we're watching it in real time, the kids are so growing so much and they're excelling so much in their lives, and he doesn't have control over them.
Correct.
And they're thriving.
Correct.
And so it's a testament to the fact that we are good parents and we're also helping them along with our parents, all four of our,
Because I'm going to say another thing too. I'm going to say another thing.
Okay. I'm ready.
You're mad at the fact that this person did this to them. You have to remember that somebody did that stuff to him.
Yeah.
He was once them.
I've thought about that.
Right.
Yeah.
He was once them. He had an injustice done to him, and he never got a shoulder to cry on.
No. Yeah.
I'm not making an excuse for someone.
No, but it's reality.
It's reality.
Yeah. Do you want to know something?
Most of the time, some people who become
victims.
No. Most of the time, people who become an abuser are the ones who
were victims.
That's first. It's
Yeah.
either learned and they were taught to do that, or they were that victim, and that's not ingrained in them because something learned is ingrained.
Yeah.
Like they're taught that's ingrained. Oh, it's ingrained in me. So somebody taught you to do that.
Do you want to know something that's weird? When I found out that he was being terminated, a lot of people were like, oh, I bet you were so relieved. And it was not this sense of relief. It was like almost, which I think it's because I'm an empath, like I'm an empathetic person.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually in his hometown working, and I had like a lunch break.
Yeah.
And I drove by his old home.
Yeah.
And it's demolished. But I had this overwhelming sense of sadness because I am so, and you can attest to this, I am so in tune with emotions and energies and just energies in like anywhere. Like I can pick up spiritual energies and things like that. I had this overwhelming sense of sadness for his inner child because driving by where he lived and he grew up, I'm going to be completely honest, I don't think I've ever told you, I fucking burst into tears. I was bawling and I was pulled over, like looking at this empty lot, like not hurting for my kids in that moment, but like hurting for him. Like this, and that goes back to the fact, like, this is that person like I married. At one point I cared for him, and I was like, oh my God, I've seen this person like at his worst and his, I don't want to say his best because I don't know if he ever was there, but like an overwhelming sense of like brokenness for this person who probably, and I know some of the things he went through, I would never ever share any of that because that's completely wrong. I would never do that. Like, I'm not that type of person to out somebody. But it was just like this really vulnerable moment that I had that I've never fucking talked about ever. So, where I just cried for him as a child, because how sad is that for any child to go through?
Yeah, because he told you about it, right?
Yeah, he told me a lot.
And you've given me little snippets. Obviously, it's not my place to hear it, but you give me little snippets, and it kind of gave me an understanding, somewhat of an understanding to maybe the life choices he's made to like
Yeah.
change himself maybe, or to find something that would he could hold on to.
And do I think, and I'm going to be so, people are probably going to be like, what the Lindsay? But I think that he tried his best in the only way he knew how, and he failed because he didn't have the tools. He failed because he didn't have the coping. And, like I said, and I've said this before on podcasts, I will take people's secrets to my grave. It's not, other people's experiences are not for me to share. I'm not going to gossip. That's not who I am. And if you truly know who I am, that's not what I'm about. But watching this person that I was with in really, really hard times, and our mutual acquaintance, she came over and watched our son at one point. I had to say her name, so I had to pause it quick. She came over and watched our son while we went to marriage therapy because she was a good friend, and she's, I still consider her a friend. But regardless, like, I was in the darkest moments of that healing, which there's a lot to heal from. So I don't necessarily, I don't not blame him, because obviously it is his fault, but like the darkest of the dark times for this person. And a lot of it now as a social worker and having gone through like my master's program and understanding psychology and things like that, it makes sense, and I'm able to kind of piece it together that his inner child was so broken, and that hurts me. And I just there was one day I just cried. I cried so hard, and I've never cried like that.
Right. Well, and and that's one of those things that, like, I think about it when I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast one day. He was talking about how, like, some people are just like the biggest pieces of shit in the world. Excuse my language, but Joe Rogan said it pretty well. He's like, that's a baby. That was someone's baby.
Yeah.
At one point in time, he wasn't born that way. He wasn't made.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He didn't come out that way. He was molded into that.
His parents failed him.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And at a certain point in time, can somebody say, oh, well, he just decided, you know what, screw it, I'm going to be the biggest piece of crap in the world?
No.
I would say some people probably might do that, but
I don't think
they may
did,
choose that. But at the same time, if you don't know any different and that's what you grew up in, which it sounds like that's probably
chaos.
What it was,
yeah,
a chaos, then it's sad to say, but you're doomed.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to do anything.
But we see that in our jobs too with kids.
We do.
And it's gut-wrenching.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle that just continues to happen. Now, at some point in time, you have to be an adult and say, hey, this is what I had as a kid. I'm never going to have my kids be that way, or I'm never going to let this affect me.
I think that...
But it's too easy. If somebody is influenced at an early age and that's all you know all the way through,
it's ingrained in their brain.
It's 1 in a million that you're going to get away from that.
And it's developmentally, like, it affects your development.
Now, I will say too, you're also an adult and you have the choices that you make.
Yeah.
And if you grew up in that and you make the wrong choices and you break the law, you need to be held accountable.
Well, and I think alcohol and opioid addiction really did contribute to a lot of that, because I watched it in real time. The person I was with in 2012 versus the person I divorced in 2016, polar opposite people. Yeah. And I watched opioid addiction just
now also at the same time, and I agree with that, and it takes people down dark paths that we don't understand. But as, I guess, instead of just like feel right now, I'm writing people off like, oh, well, he's a piece of shit, she's a piece of shit.
Addiction's real. Yeah.
I try to look at it because I've been guilty of saying it, but at the same time, I may say it, but I also think, after the fact, I'm like, well, should I have said that? what kind of happened with them. And
Mm-hmm.
I do it with people that I run into when I'm working. And but I also try to think back and reflect, like, hey, like, I wonder, like, kind of what's this person's history? Like, how did this happen? How did they get here?
Do you know something that's not talked about a lot that I would like to discuss more eventually at a later date when I'm ready to? Is mourning the loss of someone who is still like alive. And I briefly talked about that. And when I say this, like, obviously, I'm not saying I'm like craving, being with my ex husband or something, anything like
Right.
that. I'm mourning the loss of a life I thought that we would have had because
Oh,
I,
I 100% get
can
that.
you agree with that because of your ex?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think somebody, especially people who were like married, like,
Yeah.
because there's this perception, like me and my ex-wife, like, yeah, like I thought we were going to be together for the rest of our lives. Like
I did too with
I
mine.
thought that, like we were there, like
And
like,
that's the expectation, right? Like you don't
yeah,
just marry someone just to
especially
get divorced.
like she and I, when we got married, I was 21 and she was 19.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, man, my mom and dad got married at 19. Her parents got married after they got out of college.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is what marriage is. Like,
Yeah.
nope,
Yeah.
nope,
Well,
not
and
now.
and I see, like, I'm mourning. I almost mourn the fact that my kids won't have that experience that, like, of their biological father, which obviously they have you. But I think it's not talked about enough to mourn somebody that you thought they were somebody else, but they just turned out to be,
Yeah,
not,
somebody different.
yeah, somebody different.
Or you knew them as, I guess more in my case, I knew them as somebody
Yeah.
for years on end. This person, I'm gone for a year and I come back and they're completely fucking different.
And that's really opposite of me because and I like that you said that because like that's like you haven't seen her for a year and you come back and it's like this completely different person. And for me,
100%.
now looking back on it, I was with my ex and I married him and it was like, yeah, okay, we had a really rough patch obviously the night before our wedding and he struggled with alcohol, but I was there. I wanted to help him. I was like, yeah, like whatever you need, I'm here. And I didn't have that support after I had my
Yeah.
son.
And who is to say that night before your marriage, that there's so many people in this world that have that issue, that
Yeah.
nothing happens after that,
Well, and
and everything goes off fine.
I look at it now and I can analyze like why things probably happened the way they did. I'm not ever going to expose that on here, never. So I would only probably analyze it aloud to myself because I don't even feel like it's my place to talk shit on him because I feel so bad for him. Like in all reality, my empath personality that I have true like grief for him. Like as because I'm sure like that's not how you want to turn out. You don't expect your life to go this way.
No.
But I watched him just dwindle. It was just and it was like watching a fucking car accident in slow motion because it's like looking back on it, this person was so happy and so like full of life when I met him, and then just alcohol and like drugs just ruined his personality, ruined the person that he was, and then on top of it I filed for divorce and I was like, bye, I'm done. By the way, you can't see your kids because there's a restraining order, which probably didn't help.
But
And then
at the
he
same time, he was doing things that he
well,
shouldn't have been
yes, yeah,
doing and
and
had to be
very
held
violent.
accountable.
Yeah. And it's just weird to kind of watch that because nobody talks about that grief when you lose a piece of something that you thought was going to be in your life or a piece of something that was once something good or once something that you thought was going to be good and it's just gone. That's not something people like really talk about.
Right.
Just an interesting thing to talk about. I would like to have a deeper conversation on that later, but it's just something that I've been thinking about since the termination, thinking about, why things happened the way that they did. And as much as I am proud of myself for, kind of being honest with my ex's family about what happened, that was so hard to do because I'm not a mean, petty person. So I felt bad. I almost felt like heartbreak for them. And you can obviously attest to the fact I'm very in tune with other people's emotions. I can feel when somebody is so sad. And so it's hard for me to be a confrontational person with like, I mean, I have boundaries and I'm very like to the point, but I don't want to ever make somebody feel bad. Which again goes back to the whole point. Why are you trying to make me feel bad? You know? I mean, you know?
It's because people are selfish and narrow-minded
Yeah.
and don't think outside the box of themselves.
It's true. It's true. But it just goes back to the whole fact, like, it's hard. Life is fucking hard. But these experiences that we go through develop and shape us and help us grow. Help us realize who is there and who's not.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that we're going to get out of town, you know, have fun.
Go see a concert. Next day, go see a comedian.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's good. And I mean, to be honest, I know people like to go on their big
Vacations.
And by all means, go do that. But I mean,
we should do that sometime too. But
I don't want to spend all that money.
I meant like 4 or 5 days, not like a fucking 2 weeks.
That's a lot of money. No, don't pause it. No, she's trying to pause it, everyone.
No, I was actually saying how much time is on here, but
probably a while.
Yeah,
but anyways, no, I mean, I don't need to spend thousands of dollars to go on a vacation.
Oh, no,
that's me. There are other people who
I don't want to spend thousands of dollars
and save for it to do it.
People take out loans for that.
Hey, whatever. If they can pay it off by the end of the year, fine.
It just gives me anxiety.
You know, but for me, and this just me, I am fine with taking my vacation time. Like I took a couple of weeks off from work. I just hung out at home. You know, whatever. I don't care. Hung out at the house.
Party at the house.
No, it's more like just doing stuff around the house.
Adulting.
And then, you know, taking time like, oh man, I got a concert there. I want to see that band. I want to see that band. I'll take a couple days.
But I think like it's good to like I would like to go. There's a couple places like I want to go for like weekend getaways. Mm-hmm. I feel like those things are really good to do because it's like that mental break versus like a 2-week vacation every year or something or whatever.
Yeah. So, and that's going for like a couple of days. Yeah. And that's generally what we do. And fine. It works for us.
Yeah.
And I think as much as we'd like to take the kids on a vacation somewhere,
I don't want to go on a vacation with kids
And to be honest, I don't even know if the kids would really want to. I think they'd be like, yeah, let's do it. And then we tell them how long of a car ride it is. And they're like,
for sure.
No.
I would go somewhere small, like short distance, but like not halfway across the country.
Like I think about it, like we went to the Wisconsin Dells a few times when I was younger. And I was like, oh my God, that's a drive. That's an all-day drive.
My parents drove me to Arizona in the car.
Ugh.
It was the worst thing. They're like, hey, there's New Mexico. I'm like, cool. I'm in the back with my, CD player and my headphones. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like it was awful.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was good to see family, but like it was awful, like to be in the car that long. So I was like, no thanks.
If I was to take time off work and I like drove, I'd want to find like the old like routes there and
for sure.
And like see some country, you know what I mean? 100%.
Yeah, like the world's largest frying pan or something.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Like there's the John Travolta movie.
The Angel movie?
Yeah, where he like Michael that he goes and like sees like the world's largest.
Is that called Michael pan? or something?
Yeah.
I hate that movie.
Yeah. It's like kind of like a girly movie. Did your mom used to watch it?
Yeah, all the time. There's nothing else on. I couldn't ask her to watch something else, so I had to watch that. That's another reason why I play Top Gun so loud, mother.
Oh my God.
Saturday mornings. It's 7 a.m.
She said she doesn't remember that.
Yes, she does. She's lying if she says she doesn't remember. She remembers.
Oh, that's funny.
She remembers coming out, throwing hands, as the kids say. Do they even say throwing hands anymore? Probably not.
No.
It's more of a Gen Z thing.
What generation are they now?
Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha. That's what it is. Yeah. God, we got called boomers on TV the other day.
We're not boomers. We're millennials.
I know, but that's how old they think that's how old they think we are.
Well, then they need to educate themselves. They just sound dumb.
Yeah.
Hitting the Gwitty with the boys. No
Gritty.
cap.
Oh, God. I try to be cool with my kids.
Yeah, you're terrible at it. I try not to be cool with them. I just tell them how life is.
Bitch ass.
I don't say that to kids.
No, I'm not saying that to kids. I'm saying like that's how they talk. It's like the cool talk now.
That's how kids talk?
Yeah.
That's how kids talked when I was a kid.
Oh.
Bitch ass motherfucker.
I've
That's
never
what they would
heard
say.
that.
That's what they would say on the old Hillcrest basketball courts.
Oh, God. I've never heard bitch ass until like a year ago.
Really?
Yeah. Never.
Man.
But I also grew up in the boonies, so I went to a school in the cornfield.
You did.
So
you didn't. Yeah, you did.
With a very little amount of people, and we drove tractors and rode horses to school. So
the county schools out here.
I know, but
they're up here saying bitch ass, and you're just down there saying you lint liquor.
We did say that. That's really bad. Yeah, we did.
But anyways, yeah, you just different culture up here.
Oh, yeah, it sure is.
Dodger strong.
Yeah, you graduated from Fort Dodge.
I did.
I graduated from Central.
But I don't say Dodger strong. I said that there for some reason.
Oh.
I'm not about that.
Just to be cool.
No, that's not a cool
We
saying.
had to change our logo because
it's not a cool saying.
We had to change our logo because we're the Hawks where I graduated from. Mm-hmm. And it was too close to the Hawkeyes. So they had to change their Hawkeye.
Only Iowa City High can have the Hawkeye logo because they're the little Hawkeyes.
Oh.
Just like Ames are the little.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And Ames are like the little Cyclones.
Oh, weird.
I hate it. Even when I was like a kid, I hear little Hawkeyes and little Cyclones. I'm like, that's dumb.
I wouldn't want to be called that though.
No.
That sounds weird.
I don't know if Ames changed it, but
yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds weird for sure.
Yep.
I mean, so yeah, that's just odd.
Yep. That's embarrassing. But here we are in life.
Here we are.
At least we don't live in Mason City.
That's where my parents grew up.
Despicable.
That's like the rivals of Fort Dodge. I was wearing a Mason City sweatshirt in Aldi's, and I got a look like,
oh yeah, like
why are you wearing the Mohawks? Yeah. Oh yeah, it was very awkward, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just because I grabbed the wrong sweatshirt. Mason City, you guys, and Fort Dodge's colors are the same, and the sweatshirts look pretty much identical.
Watch out! Someone's gonna say no. Fort Dodge is crimson and black, not red and black.
Same fucking difference.
Crimson's a different color. Red.
It's not though. The sweatshirts are the same color, and the logos are almost identical, you guys. So Fort Dodge and Mason City are not that different. I'm saying it. I said what I said.
Hey, whatever. I don't care.
You know.
I could care less.
Mohawks sound better than Dodgers. So.
What's a Dodger?
I have no idea. Look it up. It. Give it a goog.
I did Google it a long time ago.
What is the definition of a Dodger?
A Dodger is somebody who hides in the shadows and is typically known as a thief.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Let me double check on Google, but that was essentially what it was saying.
He's giving it a goog. Okay, what is the definition of a Dodger on Google?
Let's see. Dodger, Dodger, dictionary. Definition from Oxford Languages. Informal, it's a noun. A person who engages in cunning tricks or dishonest practices to avoid something unpleasant, like tax dodgers. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, that sounds...
Yikes.
Sounds like the area.
So Mohawks are better because Mohawks are not cunning tricksters.
I still don't know about that.
I mean, I spent a lot of time in Mason City and I loved it.
Yeah, that explains a lot about you.
Ha ha ha. Oh, what did you just find?
So for slang, a dodger can refer to a person who avoids responsibilities or obligations or someone who is dishonest or tricky. Huh.
I think we're going to end the podcast on that note.
Dodger strong.
Oh my God. Stop. That's funny.
Oh, synonyms. You can also think of a dodger as a cheat, a trickster, a swindler, or a rascal.
Is this where we just like bow down, like bow out?
Let's see. General meaning, a dodger is someone who tries to evade
Yikes. Well, came
What are you?
right from Goog.
Just say Google.
Google.
You're so weird.
Google. Give it a Goog.
Give it a Google. Give
Mm.
it a
Give
Google.
it a gurgle.
A gurgle? A gurgle.
Oh. Well, husband, I enjoyed our conversation tonight. I'm kind of hungry, so I think I'm going to dip out and go eat something.
Hey, have a good night.
You too. Have a good night.
Bye.
Yeah. See you later.
Don't pause so much when you talk. Just kidding.
Coming from you.
That's what she said, literally.
Me? Yeah.
Yeah, no, the woman behind you in the window
Not falling
looking
for
in.
that.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
Peace out.
Girl Scout.